Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the funeral service for late Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson began today in Dallas. And authorities in Fort Worth are looking into what caused a hotel to explode yesterday afternoon. The total number of those injured over 20. And a Boeing whistleblower expresses safety concerns after last Friday's blowout.
Skies have cleared up and we have a pretty good looking day today. The problem is going to be a little chilly. By tomorrow morning we'll be down into the 30s. We'll be talking about that and about the big chill coming in next week.
We continue to dive into the mayoral candidates' personalities and characters beyond their policy platforms as we introduce another candidate. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. 40-year-old Camila Rodriguez of El Campo has been sentenced to 25 years in prison. The El Campo Leader News reports Rodriguez pleaded guilty to 2 counts of sexual assault of a child, a crime taking place on November 1st of 2014, and a single count of failure to abide by requirements to register on April 25th of 2021. His victim was just 15 years old. Rodriguez, a U.S. citizen, fled to Mexico and was captured there in January of 2021. The Victoria County Republican Women's Club invited all 6 mayoral candidates to their meeting starting soon. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick is live from the meeting at Colony Creek Country Club. Adarius, do we know if all the candidates are in attendance this evening?
Well, Karina, one candidate has confirmed that he will not make it tonight. However, I spoke to Josephine Solis earlier this afternoon, and she confirmed that she will definitely be here. As for the other 4 candidates, we're not sure if they're here, but VCRW did invite all of the candidates. Now, the social starts in 30 minutes at 5:30, and 30 minutes after that, the meeting will start at 6 o'clock. The group has several questions for all of the candidates. We're not sure if these are going to be debate-type questions, but I will keep you guys updated in the later shows. Reporting live in Victoria, I'm Adarius McCormick, KAVU-TV, 25 News Now.
Adarius, thank you. Now, we recently had all of the mayoral candidates live on 25 News Now at 5 to hear their various platforms. Now we're giving you a chance to learn more about their character and personality. We asked all of the candidates the same 4 questions. Our first question was for them to show us an important item in their home or office. Question number 2 was to talk to me about your dream job when you were a child. Number 3, if you're elected mayor, what is your greatest fear? And finally, what is your favorite quote and why?
I have a few, sentimental items from family members that have either, passed on or, things that I hold on to. My dream job was actually to be a lawyer. I always wanted to be a lawyer or have some involvement in law. I have always been fascinated by that process. As I got older, I wanted to be a biologist, and really the biggest dream was I wanted to be an archaeologist, but that was not feasible, I guess. I felt like it was a feasible thing. My greatest fear would be just, blockades or things getting in the way of getting things done. The way that, I would like to do for the people and do for the people what I feel like we should all have, things that we need to work on and things that, may seem important to me but doesn't seem important to other council members. But I feel like, I just want to represent and the people and the demographics that we have in this town. And so I feel like, if I don't do a good enough job for them, then, that would be disappointing for everybody. I can't remember. I think it was Archimedes who said, give me a lever and a fulcrum and I'll move the world. That's one of my favorite quotes ever. And I think it's true. You just need a will and a way and you can get things done.
That was Jacob Salceda, and also on the ballot, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, and Robert Bob Constantine. Early voting starts January 17th and runs through January 30th. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of the special mayoral election. And with that, let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, you were talking about this Arctic front coming in. I'm feeling a little chilly. I know my friends and family are feeling a little chilly. What's going on out there?
Well, and you like the cold weather, so you're going to have to get ready for it. So, yes, folks, tonight we're going to get down into the 30s, about 36, 38, because it's clear, it's cold, and everything's going to radiate up into the sky. Tomorrow and into the weekend, nice days will be around 60 degrees. However, beginning on Tuesday of next week, it's the big chill. We're going to have 3 nights of temperatures into the 20s at night. So we've got to get ready with the pipes, the pets, the plants, the people, and all of that stuff. So you want cold weather? It's coming in next week. For tonight, clear and cold, and tomorrow, lots of sunshine. But it's next week that we got to really get ready for that. We'll talk more about it coming up in just a moment. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Family and friends gathered to say their final farewells to longtime Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. Her family held Johnson's funeral in Dallas this morning after 3 days of services honoring her life and legacy. She died on New Year's Eve at the age of 89. Johnson is being remembered as a trailblazer who served her country and the people of Texas for 30 years. The late Congresswoman will be buried at the Texas State Cemetery in Austin Wednesday. Now, at least 21 people had been hurt after a gas leak and explosion in downtown Fort Worth yesterday afternoon. While cleanup crews continue clearing away debris, investigators now trying to figure out what caused the hotel to explode.
Concrete, metal, and glass covered streets in downtown Fort Worth, where it only took a second for a powerful explosion to do significant damage to a building that stood here more than 100 years.
It was chaos there for a minute when you show up and you're trying to figure out, okay, how many people are we talking about?
21 people were injured in the blast, including 1 critically and 4 seriously but not life-threatening. One man who was on the 2nd floor said the explosion destroyed a stairwell and he had to jump down to the 1st floor to escape. The explosion was powerful enough it blew concrete off the street level, allowing firefighters to peer down into the levels below ground. At least 3 people were working inside a restaurant, which was closed at the time of the explosion.
We had reports of people that were trapped down in the basement, and because of the explosion that took place, some of those access areas were either covered up or didn't feel safe at that point for people to get down it to get, into those areas.
I thought it was a bomb. Honestly, I really thought it was a bomb. And then I started smelling the gas. The gas was very, very strong.
That gas odor was evident in downtown Fort Worth for hours after the blast. One person who was injured told CBS News Texas they could also smell the gas before the explosion. Firefighters said while the explosion is connected to gas, they're still working to determine exactly what triggered the blast.
And police and crews still say hot spots remain after the hotel's explosion. A Fort Worth police spokesperson warned today that some areas are still considered immediate danger zones.
Inside the immediate hot zone here on 8th, between 7th and 9th and 7th, Houston and 7th and 9th and Throckmorton, it is considered an immediate danger zone.
No fatalities reported from the blast, which authorities described as, quote, some type of gas explosion. A Boeing whistleblower says he's not surprised by last week's 737 MAX 9 mid-flight blowout. Part of the wall of the plane detached shortly after takeoff on Friday, leaving a refrigerator-sized hole in the side of the aircraft. It led to the temporary grounding of most of the 737 MAX 9 planes. The whistleblower testified against Boeing during a congressional hearing after 2 737 MAX planes crashed in 2018 and 2019, killing hundreds of people. He recommended shutting down production before the crashes over safety issues.
This is actually in many ways an awesome wake-up call because it could have been so much more tragic. There's so many other issues that the planes have that we've been monitoring for a while now. So yeah, I wasn't surprised at all. And maybe that's the most shocking part is some of us who've been watching this have been, reporting on many quality defects. They've had over 20 serious production quality defects just since the plane rolled out, went back into service, I said. So this is very concerning.
Executives at Boeing are hosting a safety meeting with employees today. The agenda will discuss the company's response to Friday's incident. Today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. It's a day set aside in order to appreciate to all those that keep us safe. Victoria County Commissioners presented Sheriff Justin Marr with a proclamation for Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in Victoria County. Several organizations created National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day back in 2015 to thank officers for all the daily sacrifices they make for their communities. And next Monday is the Martin Luther King March and Program. The march starts at 10 a.m. and begins at the Martin Luther King Park on 3808 Calais Street. It will then end at St. Peter's Baptist Church, where a program celebrating MLK will take place. Guest speaker and civil rights attorney Matthew Manning will be attending the program as well. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Former President Trump's presidential immunity hearing is taking place in Washington, D.C. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, we hear from him regarding the hearing. Also ahead, the man accused in the death of rap star Tupac Shakur has his bail set. We go over that amount next.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information about the murder of Rudy Lee Conde. On April 30th, 2007, 37-year-old Rudy Conde was found deceased in his home in the 1600 block of East Commercial Street. The investigation revealed that Conde died from blunt force trauma injuries. If you have any information about the murder of Rudy Lee Conde, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by using our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. On behalf of Crime Stoppers, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
Today, former President Donald Trump appeared in a Washington, D.C. courtroom. The federal appeals court heard arguments on whether Trump is immune from prosecution for actions he took after the 2020 election. His attorneys say Trump holds immunity because the Senate did not convict him on impeachment while in office. But federal prosecutors argue presidents aren't given blanket immunity. After the hearing, Trump reiterated his belief that he had promised his duties as president.
And I did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. I'm working for the country, and I worked on very hard on voter fraud, because we have to have free elections. We have to have strong borders. We have to have free elections. Those two things almost above all.
Trump faces 4 counts stemming from special counsel Jack Smith's election subversion investigation. Those include conspiring to defraud the United States and to obstruct an official proceeding by denying Joe Biden's win to presidency. Altogether, he faces 91 criminal charges and 4 criminal cases against him. Bail is set at $50,000 for the suspect in the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. In a 180-page filing, prosecutors claim Dwayne Keefe D. Davis confessed to fatally shooting Shakur in 1996. They also say Davis poses a threat to the community because of his criminal past, including his role as the former leader of the Compton Crips. Davis' lawyers say their client's health has dramatically dropped since his arrest last year, adding he isn't getting his twice-a-month checkups. His trial is scheduled for June 3rd. The American Red Cross is warning about an emergency shortage in blood supplies. The organization supplies about 40% of the nation's blood, but now they need help.
A state of emergency. The American Red Cross says blood supplies are critically low across the U.S.
We don't particularly like declaring emergencies. We're only doing it because the need is that great.
The organization's medical director says an additional 8,000 blood donations are needed each week in January to keep up with hospital demand.
Without an increase in blood donation over the next couple of weeks, there won't be enough blood in hospital blood banks in order to allow doctors to respond to emergencies.
Low blood supplies impact surgeries and people with chronic diseases like sickle cell and cancer who require blood and platelet transfusions. The Red Cross says the number of people donating blood in the U.S. has fallen by about 40% over the last 2 decades. And winter weather and respiratory viruses could impact donor turnout in the weeks ahead, making the current shortage even worse. While all blood types are urgently needed, the Red Cross says they're especially in need of platelets and blood from Group O donors.
There's no way to get blood from anywhere besides a donor's arm, and that blood that you donate could be used to save the life of somebody who's been in a car accident. It could be used to help save a newborn baby, or it could be used to help get a cancer patient through their treatment.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
NASA is pushing its moon flight and moon landing dates further into the future because of safety and technical issues. NASA is now planning to send 4 astronauts around the moon in September 2025, and the moon landing is slated for September 2026. The moon landing effort has been delayed repeatedly over the past decade, adding billions of dollars to the cost. Government audits project the total program cost at $93 billion through 2025. Bringing us to your viewer poll this afternoon. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, how important is it for the United States to land on the moon again? Very important, somewhat important, or not important? We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And of course, we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. And now here's Mac.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Lots of sunshine today and lots of wind this morning, peaking up at 36 miles an hour. Last night with the thunderstorms, they peaked at 47 miles an hour. We had a high today of 61 and a low of 42. However, tonight we're going to get into the 30s and we're going to have a chilly couple of days, and then it gets real cold. We'll have more on your forecast coming up after this. It was only yesterday that we had big thunderstorms rolling around the area, thunder, lightning, all kinds of stuff, but the rainfall totals were paltry. Get a load of this. Riverside 35, the airport only had 33/100ths of an inch of rain, 0.05 in Seadrift, and this is the bigger totals that I could find, and 12 at Cuero and 55 in El Campo. But that one's long gone. As a matter of fact, where is it? Well, it's in Florida. Do you happen to have a dark colored car? This is what it looked like. That's actually a black car. I know you can't really see it, but the dust, everybody asking, where's that? That's West Texas on your windshield right there. Basically, the storm coming in from the west kicked up the big dust storm, got caught up in the clouds and the rain, and then when the rain fell down, it fell on top of us. And car washes are going to be very busy for the next couple days unless you're going to do it by hand the old-fashioned way. Looking at still northerly winds, as you see right there, that came in after that front. And we're in a roller coaster right now because the northerly wind is cold, southerly wind is warm. By tomorrow, this is going to return back to the south, and so we're going to actually warm up for a day. But daytimes will be very nice for the next couple of days. As you can see, hardly a cloud over the state, but our storm is out in Florida, and right now they're having all kinds of problems. In fact, in the Carolinas, they're losing power. We've had so far 15 reported tornadoes. We don't know the damage yet, but that's the count that we have. And you can see how all of the Midwest is getting snow all the way down into St. Louis. Well, high pressure is giving us the real lovely day, and it'll be for about 2 days until that storm arrives in our area. That's Friday. In the meantime, we've got clear, dry conditions now. This is dry as a problem. These counties, which barely include Goliad, go all the way south, and they're in a fire danger watch. It's a red flag warning because of fire danger, very high winds, low humidity. And so you're driving around, even up here, you should be very cautious with anything that looks like flame. Out here in West Texas, they have high wind warnings because they're going to get another storm coming through. This is the total rainfall that came, and as you can see, barely a third of an inch to maybe half an inch. Nobody got anything really significant. The really significant is out on the East Coast. So let's take a look at what's going to happen. All right. Storm number one, which is us, moves through New England. That's the big snowstorm they're getting in the next day or so. Beautiful weather for us with high pressure on top of us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Friday, that storm will start rolling through our area. Now, so we've got good weather until then. Chilly nights, mild days. But on Friday, that frontal system will come in. I don't think it's going to have any significant precipitation with it. It's going to be kind of a dry wind shift line. Nonetheless, it is going to make it windy, and it continues bringing colder and colder air. In the 40s and upper 30s tonight, and tomorrow we'll get up into the mid 60s. But take a look at your extended outlook. 46 tonight, 68 tomorrow in Port Lavaca, and then in Cuero we're getting 37 tonight, up to 70 tomorrow in Cuero. And watch this. Cold front number one makes it chilly and windy on Friday, but on Monday, this one gives us the Arctic blast. Look at that. We'll be down to 32 Sunday night and 24 on Monday night. So yeah, we're looking at temperatures below freezing early next week. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, Ford is issuing a major recall over some vehicles over an increased crash risk. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 158 points, the S&P 500 down 7 points, and the Nasdaq up 14 points. Oil up $1.41, closing at $72.18 a barrel. Ford is recalling nearly 140,000 cars because of a safety-related concern. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said Ford focuses from 2016 through 2018 have faulty oil pump drive belts. Leaders say this problem can cause a loss of oil pressure, increasing the chances of an engine stall or loss of power braking. The recall also applies to Ford EcoSports from 2018 through 2022. Owners of affected vehicles will be contacted and the problems will be repaired at no cost. Mother Nature's wrath brought a record-breaking $28 billion weather disasters to the U.S. just last year. NOAA reported that the most expensive disaster was the drought hitting the South and Midwest. That caused numerous problems, including stunning crop growth and saltwater intrusions into Louisiana's water supply. Other severe conditions include nationwide wildfires, flooding, and record heat waves. NOAA says 2023 had been the 5th warmest year in the U.S. since the climate record began 129 years ago. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac. Plus, Baby Yoda is coming to the big screen next year. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Tonight, the major storm slamming the Northeast at this hour, the warnings, the state of emergency. Former President Trump's lawyers are asked if Trump ordered the assassination of a rival, would presidential immunity protect him? Their answer. And masked gunmen breaking into a live TV studio next.
Disney announced The Mandalorian is coming to the big screen. Director Jon Favreau will produce and direct the movie spin-off The Mandalorian and Grogu. He said he loved telling stories set in the rich world created by Star Wars creator George Lucas, and said the idea of bringing The Mandalorian and his apprentice to the big screen is extremely exciting. The film is set to go into production this year. Well, you a big fan of Star Wars?
I was at the beginning.
Okay, what happened?
Then the ones in the middle I didn't care for, and then some more.
It's a long timeline. It's a lot to keep up.
Well, they jumped around so much. You know, they started in the middle, they went to the beginning, then went to the end. My favorite part is Luke. I am your father.
Okay, so the original. Yes. Of course. All right. You have to keep up, Mac. The Mandalorian.
I know. I can't
it's a great
keep up
series.
with all that. Sorry.
Well, let's keep up with this weather.
I have to go to work at night, you know.
Yeah, but one thing you can keep up with is our weather.
We got the weather,
patterns.
no problem at all. It's going to be lovely tonight, but it's going to be chilly, getting down into the 30s. Tomorrow we'll be in the 60s. Frontal system number 1 is on Friday. It's mostly a wind event. And then frontal system number 2 is the big one. Yes, sirree. By Tuesday, we're going to be down into the 20s at night and in the 50s in the daytime. And that's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when I expect 3 mornings that'll be at a hard freeze. So we need to get ready for that.
All righty. Thank you, Mac. And thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with Dave Amir is up next.